Hey, welcome to the San Diego 40K podcast. Today is Friday, July 6th. I'm George.
I'm Justin.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Danny.
And this is 1 week out of the 6th edition launch.
Alright, so for the first topic that we're going to be going over is the hit or misses with the new edition. So we're just going to be going over what we think are good, what we think are bad, and gameplay and just overall fun times.
We got some games under our belt this time, so we'll have a little bit better of an opinion on it.
Except for me, I've been busy with
Real
grad school
life.
and real life. So, yeah.
And I'll be more informed about what I'm talking about because I wasn't reading the rumors before the 6th edition came out.
Dirty, rotten cheater.
I cheated in my first few games. I've had about 9 games now, so I have a better understanding of what things go on and stuff.
That's because Danny doesn't have a life. Outside of
That's half true.
But anyways, okay, so with the games and stuff like that, what have you guys been noticing?
I've noticed that, for me anyways, I think transports like rhinos are going to lose. They're going to be used less. I think the value of them are going to go down because you can't move 12, get out, and rapid fire, which is a big thing.
But that's exactly the same as moving 6, getting out 6, and rapid firing.
Kind of, sort of. But then another thing, getting out of transports prior to moving and not being able to assault is going to hurt those types of units.
Well, let's look at what was good in 5th edition. How many units actually did that? The only army that ever did that was like Blood Angels or regular Eldar.
Most Space Marines, Space Wolves do that. Grey Knights would do that with their purifiers inside their transports.
Chaos will do just about everything.
Yeah, Berserkers, Chaos Marines. Pretty much every army except for Tau would do that.
No, Dark Eldar didn't really do that.
You move 12, got out, and charged.
You can still do that because it's open topped.
Yeah,
they can
that's
still
the
do
only
that.
one that
I'm pretty sure Orcs still do that.
Orcs still do that. Yeah, those are the two
you
armies.
move 12
Anything
and
open? Yeah. open
I
top.
don't think that
No,
change
it's
affects Tyranids very much.
No. So 6, no, you can't. Guys can't get out at all if you move 6 inches. So it still does hurt Dark Eldar and Orcs because you move 6 and you can't get out.
Yeah, you can. If you move more than 6, you can't get out.
Yeah, that's what I.
If you go 7 with an orc.
You could go.
If you're an
7.
Orc, you can go 7.
You can
yeah.
go 7 with an orc, yeah.
But
Cheaters.
getting out of rhinos and not being able to charge is gonna devalue them, I think, a little bit.
That's what I mean. It's not just rhinos though. You're talking about like all like non-open top vehicles, so all enclosed vehicles. So you're talking like chimeras, rhinos.
Everything that's not an assault vehicle or open topped.
Yeah, it affects all of them. So it affects, I mean, the majority of the armies across the board.
Yeah, and then also the not being able to control or contest any objective if you're inside of a vehicle.
See, that affects everybody.
That does
That was
affect
pretty
everybody.
huge.
That's why I think transports. You'll see.
Once you get that warlord trait.
Unless you get the warlord trait or the mission goes for big guns never tire and the fast attack one where all fast attack choices are scored.
Go GW, contradicting all your rules.
But I still think that because now you have to be on foot, paying points for transports, you're going to be on foot anyway, might be just a tax.
Let's look at it. A Rhino's 35 points. That's a bargain. Considering the amount of firepower it's going to take, sure, you're not going to be in it in the last turns of the game, but the amount that it'll save your guys from getting shot at, I think, is very much worth the 35 points.
That could be true. Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of the transport. It's to protect the guys inside.
Yeah. And it also has 3 hull points, which I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think transport should have 2.
What, 2 hull points?
2 hull points.
Only the really light transports deserve.
Rhino is a light transport.
But it's an enclosed vehicle, though.
It's a tank.
Something like maybe like a truck. I would kind of see
An
that.
Orc truck I could see is 2 hull points.
So Venom 2,
But the Venom makes sense at 2. The Viper makes sense at 2. Only the really shitty stuff should be 2.
Land speeders are 2 also. But dreadnoughts are also 2.
No.
They're not
3.
light.
Dreads are 3.
They're 3.
Dreadnoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dreadnoughts are 3.
I
Killicans are 2.
I think you should check the book.
I shall check the book.
We do have copies of the book on the table, so
We're up to 3 copies this week.
I'm getting mine. Don't worry.
Chaos Dreadnought. Oh, look at that. 3 whole points.
Oh, is
Defiler
it?
has 4.
I know the
Take
Defiler
that,
has 4.
man.
I thought the Space Marine Dreadnoughts had 3 or 2.
Yep, 3.
I don't know. I haven't used one yet. That's cool though.
I mean, I think the Sentinel has 2. Go figure, it's Sentinel.
Yeah. I don't even think there's one that actually has a hull point, because then
Yeah,
Then there's no point.
nothing
there's
has
no
one.
point. So I mean, you're gonna have all your small stuff have 2, all your normal stuff will usually have about 3, and then all your big and beefy stuff will have 4.
From
Because
what
I don't
I've
even think
seen-
there's like no 5 hull points either, right?
No,
Not yet.
The biggest is 4.
Yeah, so
Oh,
I
I
mean,
can't
your
wait
Land
for
Raiders
them.
are 4 too. So
Yeah, and the only heavy.
I can't wait for them to break that
units-
rule.
I don't think they'll.
Oh,
I
God,
don't. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say ever, but I don't think they would because the Monolith is 4, and that's a huge. That's like the biggest model on the table.
Yeah, that's
as
the
far
as
only
models
heavy
go.
vehicle too. I think, right?
It's the only heavy vehicle right now too.
hmm
So that and I don't know. I think we'll see more draw pods in the game as far as transports go because you want your troops to get into a certain area and
it's definitely going to change the meta around for sure. But I mean, like I said, it's going to be the transports are going to be fulfilling a different role as opposed to just the normal running in, contesting, and it's pretty much just a transport vehicle.
Surprisingly, they'll be transports now.
Surprisingly, they're going to be transports. And
Instead
that is
of-
their
instead of metal
tactical
boxes that
thing is
control
being in
objectives.
transports. Yeah.
yeah. 2 other units that I think are going to be really really good is the jump infantry and the bikes.
I think actually Sanguinary Guard are going to get really terrifying this
Yeah,
edition.
because
Yes.
they have the power axes, they have 2 up save, so they're initiative 1, but they still strike at strength 6
No,
and
no, no.
AP2.
They have power swords.
I think you get to choose.
They have power axes, man.
They got both then. Because I know that some of the models have axes and
I
some of
think
the
the
models have
sergeant
swords.
has a sword.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's one of those instances where you go as modeled, so you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so you get to choose which ones are
Yeah,
which.
but the super power axe is strength 6.
So you run all power axes.
AB2.
And then you're flying Terminators.
It's awesome. Those guys would be on the table. All assault troops everywhere will start to come out, and Terminators also is probably going to be more prevalent. Everybody being able, and also with the allies, there's going to be a lot of Deathwing everywhere.
Yeah,
There's
all
no-
different types of wing.
Deathwing Terminators.
Deathwing, Logan Wing, Drago Wing.
It actually makes what's it called? Some of the older units from like older codexes that nobody would really use. They're more like theme stuff, to tell you the truth. So like one such example is like the Space Marine Honor Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Because before they were just armor 2, and they would just get eaten up in close combat by anybody with a power weapon of some sort.
Yep.
And now with power weapons, unless it's modeled specifically, majority of all power weapons are AP3. So artificial armor on those guys is actually really huge.
Yeah, anything with a 2 up save got a huge boost. Because anything that was slaughtering them before, now you get your armor save.
Yeah.
And people that would be able to kill them, you're going first.
Yeah.
So it's a good boost to all those types of units, I would think. And bikes being up to toughness 5, and they have the Hammer of Wrath rule just like the jump infantry, but being toughness 5, so now you don't get instant death by anything strength 8 or 9, which is pretty big because if you have one attack bike get shot with a missile launcher, you pick them up. Now you just take a wound. Oh no, you get a jinx save.
You get a jinx save before taking that one.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, bikes definitely going to see them hopefully with a comeback and stuff like that. I do want to see Kasaro Khan's army. I mean,
I got one of those.
Dark Angels, Ravenwing.
Ravenwing.
Definitely want to
They're
see those
still
guys coming
overcosted
back.
right now to the new book.
Yeah.
Maybe even we'll get a Wazdaka Orc Biker army out of
Oh
this.
yeah.
No,
Orc
no,
biker
yeah.
armies will come back. We'll
Yeah,
definitely
big
see
way.
some of the Eldar jet bike armies come back for sure.
Yeah.
Especially
I
with how
think the 4 biggest units I got buffs was Terminators and their equivalents with everything with 2 up saves. And the next one behind them would be bikes, jump infantry, and then draw pods, I think, would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think it's important to note that anything that's made entirely of characters is really good now.
Yes, because you could challenge and decline challenges on how you want to, and just being able to challenge with a whole knob squad and having to go through that squad one by one kind of sucks as far as being characters go.
Yeah, and you can play some really worse than 5th edition wound shenanigans with the Lookout Sirs.
Yeah, because they're all characters, so they could just drive in front of their friend if they don't want that guy dying.
yeah.
So, which your friend would actually be a war boss on a bike in the very front. Because he's what, toughness 6?
No, the War Boss is going to be the one driving in front of other guys. Let me take that rocket for you, buddy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's toughness 5 base, so it would be 6 with
He's
the bike.
tough 6.
So there's no more brackets.
Tough 6 with a bike.
Can't
And
even
he'll also
shoot
get
that
the
guy
Feel No
with a
Pain.
Vindicator.
Man, crazy.
Yeah, I don't want to see that army.
Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna see it.
You're gonna see it.
It was already good, now it's just better.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't
It's-
as good because you could still tank shock that unit. I mean, you can still do it now. But
Right, but the Orc army with the battle wagons go faster now, and they've still got the Knob Bikers who got more survivable, so
Mhm.
I think that army's going to keep having a good showing.
The only good thing about that right now is if you have a unit, that unit's going to be at least what 600 to 700 points, maybe 800.
Oh yeah, non-bikers are expensive.
They're expensive, but I mean, for the investment that you're actually putting into them, they're going to be a lot more survivable. So, I mean, they're going to be lasting unless you're like really reckless with them, they're going to last most of the entire game.
Yeah.
Or unless your opponent took some guard teammates and we can resolve them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's go run away.
that works. Or they just take a fearless unit, put him in there, and tie him up for a couple turns.
Scarabs.
I don't know, man, 'cause the amount of power claws in there. Do you have a big enough fearless unit to stand up to that?
Scarabs.
Yeah. Talking about that Scarabs thing with Fearless. So with the new edition, Fearless is what? You don't take Fearless wounds anymore?
There's no longer any downside to having
Yes,
fearless.
you just pass.
Well, the
Nothing else.
downside is you can't take the upside of choosing to fail.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So you're stuck there forever.
But you could still do the our guns or our weapons are useless.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Fearless
It says
it
it.
specifically says Fearless can't
Oh,
do that.
shit. Well,
So
then-
that's the only downside.
Well, I mean,
Well, the weapons are never useless unless it's a Wraith Lord.
Yeah.
you power fist that big-headed bitch.
So Fearless, there's no downside anymore. It's kind of just stay in combat. So Scarabs go back to the tar pitting ways of 4th edition, like they used to do back in the day. And that pretty much goes for a lot of other Fearless units too. So Orcs, tar pitting with 30-man squads.
Yeah, you won't lose an entire mob just to fearless wounds now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but your knob is going to get picked out.
Look out, boss. Hopefully.
Hopefully, you
One of his knob
hopefully
friends
you
is going
can
to take a
look out,
wound.
boss. No, just the knobs in the regular big
Oh, the
squad.
regular boys? Yeah,
The
those
boy
guys.
squads.
Those
Tyranid
guys.
Horde armies are going to be pretty good.
Oh yeah, they're going to be ridiculously good because that's one of their biggest weaknesses. Besides the being able to fall over rocks and cover and strike initiative 1, but the fearless thing, once you pop like 4 or 5 gaunts, then you're going to lose another 4 or 5 gaunts to fearless wounds. Now they just stay there.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just
so-
stay there. So they're going to be able to tie up stuff like indefinitely.
So they're going to run into you, hold you until the Carnifex or Turbigon or whatever Fex comes and eats you.
No, they're the Gene Stealers.
Or the Gene Sitters, they'll come in there and rape you. Because who cares? You're losing 5-point gaunts, whatever. You got the Baby Maker who's going to make more.
Or how many can you have in a 2,000 point game? Like
You
9
could,
or something?
you could have 10. You could have up to 10.
10.
So 4 HQs and then 6 for the troops because you have to buy the 50-point gaunt tax for each one.
Yeah.
So the only mission that you don't care about kill points is the number 2, which is, what is it, Purify? Or Kill the Witch, or whatever it is. The kill point mission. All the other 5, you want as many units on the table as you can get.
Yeah.
So who cares if you're crapping out 30, 40 gaunts a turn? You just hold them for the Gene Sitters to come and rape them.
Cool.
I like it.
Any other hits and or misses that we...
The random charge ranges. I know a lot of competitive players don't like that because you could always guarantee the 6, but the average roll on a dice is a 7 on 2 dice. So your average is 1 inch more.
See, but
Well, your average may be 1 inch more, but statistics says you're usually going to fall on either side of it much more
5
often.
or 7
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, but I mean, the thing is too is like
or 6 or 8.
it's a compensation for being able to pre-measure at any time in the game.
Yes.
So I mean, it's going to change the tactics a little bit more as opposed to just trying to guess to see if that's 6 inches, where you can measure and you'll be like, okay, I know I need this number. Statistically wise, like, am I going to try to risk it, or do I want to try to get closer, or whatever?
And then the units that I think are going to get better are the bikes and jump infantry, which you get to reroll those.
Yeah, reroll those. Anybody with fleet gets to
gets to
reroll
roll.
those.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, all the assault armies are gonna have some sort of way to compensate for that. So I mean, like Blood Angels being an assault army, they have jump troops. Tyranids, Eldar, Dark Eldar, they all have fleet. So I mean, all the assaulty armies have some sort of way to compensate for that.
Yep.
I mean, Orcs, it can be considered an assault army, but they have bikes and they have a lot of guys.
Yeah. Speaking of orcs
Orcs
took a little bit of a
Storm
hit.
Boys.
Yeah, Orcs have Storm Boys.
Yeah, but they take a little bit of hit. They don't get the initiative for charging. And if you dual charge, you don't get your strength bonus anymore from fearless charge.
Quick question.
See, that's
Danny.
the hit. The
No,
initiative,
no. The initiative, with one initiative, what do they go faster than?
it matters against
Necrons.
Nids. Tyranids is the only army that mattered against.
Yeah.
Because now
Against
the Nids
Space
will
Marines?
always strike first in combat.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really matter all that much. I mean, against Space Marines, they're still going last.
Yeah.
Against other armies, they're still going to go last. I mean,
Yeah,
it
but
was
how many
Tyranids.
Tyranids were at Adepticon? That's right.
4? I don't know.
Bro.
0. Yeah, the dual charge with not getting your strength bonus or the +1 attack.
Yeah,
That
that
hurts.
does hurt.
Yeah,
A lot.
multi-charging is going to be very situational now. Very, very situational. It's not almost like I need to double charge or dual charger anymore.
Or
It's
have
kind of like
some way to give yourself an extra attack with like a some kind of I don't know.
it's going to be more
Special
of
rule or
like
something.
I'm going to charge this unit and see if I can get another unit to charge. So it's almost unit on unit now as opposed to
Yeah.
one big ass unit versus a couple small units.
I think the game is going to change from what it used to. I guess now it's a long range fighting, shooting, type game.
Oh, but didn't you say earlier you thought assault units were going to be on the rise?
No, I'm talking about 5th edition, where everybody was taking move and shoot type armies. Now 5th edition is going to be more of a close range,
You mean
2
6th
feet
edition?
firefight. No, 5th edition. I'm talking about 5th edition, where people take shooty armies and don't care about assaulting, and now it's going to be more of an assault type game.
More of a mix of both, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be more closer firefights and getting up close to your opponents.
Yeah.
You look at 5th edition armies where they take 5 dudes and a Razorback 7 times.
Oh god. Yeah, the MSU spam.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be good
Well,
in 6th edition.
You'll see people use it because hey, might as well test it out, right?
I
Don't-
think
don't knock it
it'll
till
be
you've seen it.
fine for Space Marines because 5-man Space Marine squad still has plenty of survivability, but 5 Dark Eldar outside of a Venom, those guys are just asking to be shot off the table.
Yeah.
No, the funny we were talking about that though earlier with Danny here with his Terminators. So he has a bunch of Terminators, but if you still use Venom spam to knock out his expensive troops, I mean that's still viable until they get winged, then they death blow up. But you still have that little transport that has a ton of fire with your little glass cannon there. With a jinx save, so you actually save points with your flicker fields.
The thing is, I think
Well, you got them for free on Venoms, so you didn't pay for them anyway.
So
yeah,
your other vehicles you don't pay for it anymore.
your 10-point upgrade is now free.
Yay!
So I think,
Exciting.
but the Terminators that are going to be more on the table is the shooty kind, not really the Thunderhammer Stormshield kind.
Unless you have a lot of
I
green in
think
the
they're-
area.
I mean, I don't think they're going to be totally phased out. I think there'll be a combination of both as opposed to just taking the close combat Terminators. I think they're going to take a combination of both.
I think what you'll see is one unit of Thunderhammer Stormshield Terminators inside of a Land Raider, and the rest will be the shooty kind.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, with missiles and all
I
that.
think that's what we'll see.
You have your either really aggressive or countercharge unit there and a good support platform, and then everybody else can multitask and contribute while you're not charging.
I think one of the best combinations that I used to run with my old Space Marine army was actually taking a Librarian with the teleporting
The Gate of Infinity.
Gate of Infinity trick and then attaching it to a squad of the shooty Terminators with Cyclone missile launchers.
Well, that's
And
the
just
other thing.
having them just like deep striking, like, because they can have a up to 24 inches away of deep striking. So just deep striking that unit, getting like a side shot off of a tank, or just getting closer to the units that you would want to charge with that unit that they can charge, and just like blasting them to pieces.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I want to get a Space Marine Librarian in my army, so I could guarantee the Gate of Infinity from the Allies special rules. So I could just buy a Space Marine Librarian in their codex, so I don't have to roll for it, because it's one of the powers in one of the Psychic Wars.
So Danny, have you used or seen the new Vanguard veterans yet?
Not yet, but I want to use a unit of Vanguard veterans because
My
those guys
Raven
got
Guard are going to be using those guys.
those guys got such a big boost. Because coming down, and I was reading through it, and I can't see any reason why. Or when you deep strike, it doesn't say you're using your jump packs in the jump pack move.
It does.
It does.
It does.
It
Yes.
does. So you're going to be using your
I was reading it in the jump pack. It doesn't say you're using jump.
It
It
packs.
does.
It does. I read it in the rulebook. So
Yeah.
what happens is that that's why it's really good for my army, for my Raven Guard, because I have fleet of foot with jump packs. So I can use my jump packs for that deep strike in and still get the reroll the charge range because I have my fleet of foot rule. So bam.
Nice. So you do get your shoulder butt.
Yes.
No. Because the shoulder butt happens when you get your jump pack into close combat. So you're using fleet to get the extra dice roll, but you're still not using the jump pack to charge into combat.
Yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. 'cause
You get
you still have pistols.
it's still really helpful because you get to ensure your charge basically. Because I think the average with the reroll is 8 or 9 inches instead of 7.
Yeah.
So.
Are you sure that they don't get their initiative 10 attack?
Well, they're not using their jump packs to charge in. They're using fleet.
Well, it's a normal charge. That's the thing. It's just you get the
But
reroll.
the jump packs say that you have to use the jump pack movement in the assault phase
to get your shoulder charge.
To get your hammer charge. Yeah.
Right. Okay. If you want, that's the other thing I noticed. If you want your regular shoulder charge like normal, you can only move 6 inches in the movement phase, and then if you charge with your jump packs, that's how you get the charge. The shoulder
how about
charge.
the Storm Raven moving 6 inches, having your assault troops jump out, and then use the jump packs to assault?
That's just an assault vehicle. That works just fine.
That works just fine too. Yeah.
I think that's definitely one area where bikes have the upper edge because bikes always get their extra inches, they always get their rerolls, and they always get their shoulder charge.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they can't always go up one floor.
They sure can't. Which Beast can do them now.
Yeah, that's
Beast can definitely do that.
So there's no longer hiding from Scarabs on the second floor looking down.
Nope, Scarabs can run up the stairs now.
Yeah.
They learn how to walk up the stairs.
Still can't bunny hop my little bike up one floor.
You figure the guys could just get off their bikes?
Oh, seriously, just dismount, go.
I know.
Yeah.
Their asses are not glued down to it.
Oh, mine are.
Well, I mean, in real life.
Oh, well, wait.
Wait,
40K.
hold on.
Disbelief. No.
You made Brian's head pop.
I know.
Okay, so
I need to magnetize those guys now.
any misses that you guys see that coming out of this edition?
Not being able to assault from reserves is really big. Like outflank or anything like that.
Reserves, outflank.
It took away the special traits of certain things like your Raven Guard, being able to infiltrate and fleet. You can't charge if you infiltrate or you scout and be before the game. So that takes away a lot of some of the uniqueness, especially with Wolf Scouts too.
Yeah, Wolf Scouts,
Snake Rod. The Tyranid Codex. Big surprise there, right? Mm-hmm. So anything that could come from reserve, you can't assault.
Yeah, not even the Ymgarl Gene Stealers anymore. They just kind of sit there and say, "What's up?"
Yeah, it's very annoying. That's a really bad rule because now you won't see any of those units anywhere.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily say that you won't see any of those units. I definitely think that Wolf Scouts will definitely, instead of being charging in, they're going to just be coming in and then trying to blast stuff with the weapons that they can take. Because I know they can take a couple of the shooty weapons like multi guns and things like that. So you'll see them.
Gun, throw a grenade.
They're going to be like a come in, short range, close shooting support type of unit, as opposed to just shoot it, charge it type of unit. Snake Rot, on the other hand, I think we're probably not going to see him
ever,
because I don't think he has any shooty stuff that he can take for this squad.
Nothing special, like
nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, a bolt pistol.
Maybe a contesting unit.
He's got 2 swords.
I mean, you probably would just take normal commandos at that point.
Yeah, Snake Rod is now not worth anything. Well, he gives his unit move to cover.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he's not. Man. What is he like? 80 points?
Yeah, but I mean, most people that bought Snake Rod were buying him just so they can place him wherever and get that charge off on that shooting army.
Usually with Gaz along for the ride.
Yeah, with Gaz or some sort of war boss
on a bike.
Sort.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can always still use that though. You can use that as bike. You have to kill this unit, or else it's going to charge your face next turn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, while you're not bikers running to the middle of their army.
So I mean, I think there'll definitely be a decline. But I mean, if people do bring them, I mean, you're making it so choose something. You're trying to give a choice to your opponent.
Yeah.
Another thing is they didn't really prepare too many people for the flyers, so everybody hits them on 6s. I know they want to sell bastions and the defense lines and stuff like that, but not being able to give anybody anti-aircraft guns besides the Hydra, which they already had it kind of, and the bastions.
Bastions, defense lines.
Yeah.
They want to sell their models.
Yeah. So,
seems like a little bit of a cash grab.
Well, the thing is, too, is like, it's a cash grab, but also, I mean, not all armies are going to be hindered by it. So, I mean, there's ways around it.
Yeah,
so,
you get ally stuff. Take bastion.
Take bastions. Buy your defense lines.
Unless you're Tyranids.
Yeah.
They can't fire those things.
Yeah.
They look at the machines and like, what?
Yeah. Tyranids are kind of shit out of luck when it comes to flyers.
Well,
Tyranids are actually one of the better armies against it because they have their flying monsters.
Flying monster creatures.
They can vector strike them.
They have 2 of them.
1.
Okay.
The
They have the-
harpy and
The
there's
Harpy and the
another-
Hive Tyrant.
There we go.
Is the Hyperion actually a flying monstrous creature?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Any Tyranid with wings is a flying monster.
Really?
I
Yeah.
think the only monstrous creature that moves like jump infantry that isn't a flying monster is the Dread Knight.
Everything
No,
else,
the Demon
nope,
Prince.
Demon Prince is still the same.
Oh, and Demon Princess too.
But the
okay.
Fate Weaver and Blood Crusher are flying monstrous creatures.
Really?
Yes, they are. And you can take them as allies. So the Blood Crusher is now effing things up in the air. Look at you got the. It's in the book. It's in the rules.
Where? I don't see it anywhere here.
Oh, I guess that means that Fate Weaver gets to re-roll his Do I Fall Out of the Sky dice.
That'd be,
Yeah.
there you go.
Let's see here. Where is that?
But it'll be a little hard to keep him in the center of your army when he's flying around,
Yeah.
moving 18
I
inches
mean-
a turn.
I mean, with what you were saying about like all armies not being prepared to take on flyers,
Well, this-
people have ways around it. It's just that you're now going to have to buy the models
Keep your signal.
monetary wise to go take care of it now. Because you either have to ally and get flyers, buy the Aegis Defense Liner Bastions
change.
with the anti-air guns,
And then the
or
Bloodthirster.
in Tyranids case, take flying monstrous creatures.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So,
So why are they flying and not?
a Demon Prince, like
and
a
does Demon
Bloodthirster.
Prince? You give him the flight though, right? The rule's called like, was it?
Demonic Flight,
Demonic
that's
Flight.
a 3.5. Yeah, we're
Damn
back. We're on 6th edition.
So are just Demon Princes just normal jump
They're just
infantry?
flying. Yeah,
Just-
they count as jump infantry.
Okay.
Hmm.
But now I'm gonna buy a Bloodthirster for my Chaos Army because
I'm
They
gonna
could-
make a bloodthirster.
they can hit
Screw that.
flyers, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I mean, not everybody's hindered by it. You just have to
They also
think
gave
about it.
the profile flak missile to the missile launchers, but they gave nobody the option to buy it.
Yeah, no one can take the upgrade yet.
That's great. I
was
like
assuming they
I
were
like
Some
looking at the
real
profile.
excellent design right there.
Yeah, I was hoping that they were going to fix that in
Or
the
like
back.
an
but-
FAQ or something.
yeah, just like say all missile launchers have this option. So you got 3 different types of missiles to fire now.
Or yeah, like pay 5 points. There you go. You guys get it.
Somebody missed that. Yeah, I think that's what they probably meant to do. That everybody gets flak fire if you have missile launchers.
But they
That
didn't
would make
specify
sense. Yeah, it would make sense that they do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
another
right,
thing
yeah,
is
yeah.
the warlord traits.
it.
Some of them are really good and some of them just absolutely suck.
So hit or miss.
I would say miss.
Miss. The
Because-
problem I have with Warlord traits is none of the specific trees really lend themselves to any army. So you could have a close combat guy and he'll roll a shooting thing. Great. Or if you roll a shooting guy and he gets a close combat thing, awesome. And you don't really have the option to choose one of the different sections of the bonuses that to try and mitigate this. You just kind of have to pick the one that has the most things you want and hope for the best.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And you have some of them that absolutely make no sense. Like if you have a fearless army and you roll everybody within 12 inches of you gets to use his leadership. You're like, okay.
Yeah,
We're all
inspiring
fearless.
presence.
It's retarded. Yeah, so a Tyranid Hive Tyrant now gives everybody fearless.
Fearless 10.
Okay. Great.
It's
You know,
important.
that or one that I do like is any enemy model within 12 inches of him uses the lowest leadership, which
Yeah,
is pretty
intimidating
cool.
presence is pretty
There are
awesome.
definitely good ones in there, but
Legendary
it's just
fighter.
too
Yeah.
random.
I'd say
Tau
out of-
Ethereal.
yeah.
Out of the 18 that there are there, I'd say there's probably only about 4 or 5 that are actually worth taking.
Well,
All right, Danny,
no,
hold
I
on.
think there's more like I think there's about 10 that I think I like,
With Tau.
Mhm.
but the problem is it's just none of them are good for everybody. And since you don't have a chance, you roll a shitty one, and then the other guy's Abaddon gets whenever I kill a character, free points. Oh boy, here we go.
It's only in challenges though.
Yeah, like he's
Fair
not going to
enough.
be challenging.
Well, you don't have to accept the challenge.
Abazaba is going to be walking through units. Well, the knobs have to take it. So he'll just be walking through knobs all day.
Doesn't have to.
Why not?
So you just say, okay, cool.
Just say no.
That guy is not gonna.
The only
take
people
it.
that can specifically refuse challenges are
Somebody
that
who is,
can't refuse them are Black Templar.
And
yeah, the Emperor
And
Temple.
I think
the
I think
porn
if you only
star.
have one guy left, he can't refuse a challenge.
Yeah.
The Space Old Porn Star can't either. Arjak Rockfist has to take challenges.
Oh, he has to challenge or issue
Yeah, but
challenges.
you would want him fighting.
Of course, he's awesome.
Anyway.
Yeah, he's a badass.
He's a porn star. Come on.
So, another thing, I actually like the random terrain. I know a lot of people won't like it because you don't know if the force is going to help you or if it's going to smack you in the face. But I think that's a cool thing. because random terrain, it's in fantasy, so it's a little bit of fantasy S in 40k. But I actually
Well,
like the random.
how many
thing
people
is-
use those rules in fantasy?
I use them every time.
Tournament-wise in fantasy, they actually don't use those rules.
Do
I
you
know
still
they-
play fantasy, Danny?
No,
There you go.
So that is the reason why Danny's
I sold my army because I didn't like
opinion
Dark
is
Elves
irrelevant.
anymore.
Sure.
Yeah, Danny.
He was the forest killing all your dark elves.
No, it was I got tired of playing elves.
Okay, so any more misses? Talked a few hits. Any more misses?
Oh,
that
the
we wanna
biggest
talk
miss
about?
for me so far is just how long that shooting at something takes if the other guy doesn't want it to die and they've put a high save independent character in front or something.
Yeah, the wedge formation,
It just makes
The flying V.
the 40k flying
Yeah.
V, the Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Duck formation. Yeah, that one's going to be kind of irritating. Definitely, if somebody's be putting that in there, somebody's going to be doing something to try to get rid of that character.
Dark Eldar 2-up invul save guy.
Yeah, the Shadowfield.
Yeah, that's going to be a balls to try to get through.
Yeah, one of the other.
just wait until they take Eldar allies and fortune that guy.
Oh,
Yeah, the same problem would be when Grey Knight Terminators get into close combat with the 2-up warding stave, 2-up invulnerable.
Yeah, that guy's gonna take everything.
So he's every Grey Knight Terminator squad is gonna have that now. So,
but it's only a 2-up save in close combat, right?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but it's 2-up invul save and
In
since
close combat.
Why would you
in
not
yeah.
want to be in close combat?
and
with
once
Grey
you're in
Knights?
close
Yeah.
combat, you're just like, all right, he's gonna take everything first,
Yep, and
and
then
it's
you're F.
So wait,
Nice.
how with close combat with issuing wounds and stuff like that too?
It's just like shooting. You have to take the closest first, but
how do you
everybody's
determine
everybody's in base contact is considered to be close. So if he's in close combat and he's touching somebody's base, he's considered to be the closest.
so you can just roll them all on him until
So
he
you
dies.
Yeah, if
choose.
everyone's closest, you choose where they go.
Just like
you
shooting.
put on that one guy until he goes away. It's kind of annoying.
Until you precision strike some other guys.
Yeah, precision strike.
And then
or
that
they all
same
have
guy
the
with the
exact
warding
same
staff does a look out, sir, and he's like, I got this!
save. Oh god.
It's gonna be very interesting to see how this game works.
Yeah.
I know with you guys, you got your games in, but I need to get some games in at some point.
Yeah, I actually think that flyers would be a little bit of a miss.
Miss?
Yeah,
I-
once people started getting defense for it,
That's because you played against flying paper plates.
I don't.
and I don't have people. And once people start taking defenses for it, like the Aegis defense line becomes like one of the best 100-point upgrades you could get because you not only get cover saves, you can shoot them down when they come in. But once people start buying these bastions and whatever, flyers would become less relevant, and especially if the missile gets flak fire also. You're not gonna see many flyers. Maybe one.
I don't think I can make a judgment on flyers yet because it's obvious that they put a lot of rules in there to deal with flyers, but because we haven't seen any 6th edition codexes, we don't really know what's going to happen. I think once we see chaos, we can tell the direction they're going to go with how strong flyer defense is going to be. Then I think I'll be able to get a better hit or miss on that one.
Because right now, I mean, with most armies out there right now, I mean, not a lot of people, except for maybe like Imperial Guard, are actually using flyers to a very high degree. I mean, you have like your Space Marine armies, like your Grey Knights and your Blood Angels, that have like a Storm Raven.
Those proxy players with their Necron flying plates.
Yeah, flying plates.
Yeah, flying plates. But I mean, like,
Flying saucers, if you will.
even with the Aegis defense
UFOs.
line and stuff like that, I mean, you're only having one thing shooting at that guy when he's coming in. And you're always obviously going to choose the stronger thing, but if they have a bunch of flyers coming out, I mean, you only get to still shoot at one unit.
Yeah, I'm saying like once people start getting defense for it, if you have a Space Marine unit or an army with 4 or 5 different missiles, you have Space Wolves with their long fangs, and all these flyers start coming in, and then now you have 4 or 5 different units shooting at flyers. Now the flyers just come in and get shot down. Then they don't do anything in the game, and people are gonna be like, "Well,
But
flyers
then
suck."
at the same time, you're spending all that points into anti-air, and what happens if you face against a unit that doesn't have any anti-air or any air units whatsoever? Then you're kind of just like, well, now what?
Okay, well,
I think you're taking it way too extreme.
I think you're not taking it. Okay, how many Space Wolf players use missile launchers in the long phase?
I don't.
Most of them.
Everybody except for Brian.
I like
So-
las cannons. I'm sorry.
so
you got your little
If
lava flare.
GW comes out and says every missile launcher now gets a flak missile, every Space Marine army in the world is going to have missile launchers. So now you have those things shooting down flyers.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I'm like, you're saying it's way too extreme. I'm taking a more conservative approach on, like, yeah, if I bring flyers, yeah, you're going to shoot my flyer down. But at the same time, I'm not going to be running my flyer up, like, recklessly. I'm going to make you give choices. You're doing it on a very, like, one instance type of, like, situational
I
thing.
think because also flyers, they get the 90-inch or 90-degree pivot thing, which is you could just move around that because they have to move 18 inches. So if they're facing you too, this is what I'm saying. So if they're facing you this way and you're in front of it, and you can pre-measure how far you are, so you know they're not going to be able to shoot you. So you just move closer to the flyer. Then it has to fly over you. So I don't think flyers are going to be used as much as most people think they are.
Well, remember that almost all flyers that are out right now can just enter hover mode if they want to shoot you.
Yeah.
If it's that important,
Storm Ravens and the
Yeah.
Storm Talons and the Vendettas.
yeah. So all the flyers except for the Dark Eldar ones. Not the Dark Eldar ones, the
Necron.
Necron ones.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, Dark Eldar ones can't do that either.
I'm not sure. I can check.
So,
Yeah. see, but the same thing is like your flyers aren't going to be coming in until turn 2 anyways, because all flyers are going to be in reserve.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I know you have a lot of anti-air defense, I know where my concentration of fire is going to be going, because if I want to protect my flyers that much, I mean, you have 3 Long Fang squads. If I pour in all my fire at those Long Fang squads, then you got nothing to take out care of my flyers, unless you bought an Aegis defense line on top of that. So, I mean,
I
people, it's going to be very tactical. I think your opinion on it is that nothing else is going to be on the table except for the flyers. I'm going to have other stuff besides just flyers.
Yeah, I know that. No, I'm just saying that the flyers are not going to be used as much as people think when you think, okay, I can take 3 flyers, 4 flyers, 5. I think most people are going to be taking 1, just like the Terminators and the Land Raider. You'll see 1 for every army. And the defense for it is you can't escape the 96-inch las cannon that's going to shoot you when you come in from the fortress. So that's an automatic shot. So once you come in, they get to shoot you. So your flyer gets shot down before you get to use it.
Yeah, but I got 1 turn to try to deal with that shot,
Well,
too.
how many points is the fortress?
It's 75.
The Bastion?
Bastion, not the fortress.
The Bastion and the defense line are both. Or the Bastion is 75 before you buy the 35-point las cannon. And the defense line is the same. It's 50 points before you buy the
Fortress is
35-point
like
las
200
cannon.
something.
Yeah.
So they have the interceptor special rule. So when your flyer comes on,
You still have to shoot at it, right?
Yep.
So you're still rolling to hit, and you're still taking the whole randomness into it. So it's not a guaranteed
It's
shot.
not
out
a
there.
guaranteed, but it's a way to stop a flyer from doing anything.
Yeah.
And
All I'm saying is like, I'm thinking that flyers are still going to be just like, I mean, I agree that they're probably not going to be as prevalent, but they're still going to be used.
that's all. That's what I'm saying. They're not gonna. You're not gonna see more than 2 flyers, 3 flyers for art. You'll see like 1 or 2 at the most.
Well, we've already seen, 9? With our
Yeah.
proxy man at the game.
Yeah, proxy man, and he's playing against people who have no defense for it. So
That's also true.
So he's having fun with it right now, and people are having fun with that right now. But as soon as people start bringing defense, then you'll see less flyers. That's all I'm saying.
Does anybody have any like leftover shoe boxes I could use as proxy hydras to play against them?
Proxy Land Raiders. This coffee mug is now a hydra.
Okay, so we had flyers, hit and misses for the new edition. Talked a little bit about the terrain, so ally combinations because with the new edition now we get to take allies.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that we're using that, and most of the allies make sense, except for maybe Tyrannus.
Yeah, but what do you guys think are some really strong ones for your armies? Right now, I'm looking into either.
I think the double Eldar combination is going to be good.
I'm kind of looking into Talon Orcs because nothing targets quite like a unit of 30 Orc boys who no longer take fearless wounds.
That's going to be a good combo because now one of your weaknesses is long range shooting, and you take a unit of broadsides, and you can start.
No,
people.
broadsides don't deal with long range shooting. Broadsides deal with tanks.
That's what I'm talking about. Orcs don't have much as far as long range firepower for dealing with vehicles.
Well, Ludas are pretty good.
Unless you're armor 13. Well, now you can glance.
Well, actually, Ludas are pretty good against armor 13 now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only problem you really had was against
Land Raiders.
Land Raiders.
I actually could see broadsides coming into use in Dark Eldar armies, even though they're desperate allies. You don't have to risk as much to get those Dark Lance shots anymore, and since if you're sure the tanks will die, you can be sure that your Venoms are going to get more action.
What's the ruling with the desperate allies? How they're affected? With the allies?
If one of your allies that's a desperate ally is within 6 inches of one of your units at the start of the turn, you roll a d6, and on a 1 they do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with a fast army like Dark Eldar, it shouldn't be hard to keep them away from something relatively static like a broadside.
Yeah, 7 inches away. It's old Wraith sight, pretty much.
Yeah.
You're looking at it. Isn't it called One Eye Open or some shit like that?
Something like that.
Whatever. So, I think Eldar, maybe with Grey Knights, fortuning them would be really powerful, because now you get to reroll everything.
Are they Battle Brothers?
I think they're desperate. Desperate or in, what's the other
So
one?
you can't use your special powers on them then?
Oh shit, you're right. You are. Allies of Convenience is what I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah. So unless you're like Battle Brothers, which is the closest for allies, you cannot use special powers on anything else underneath. So if you're Allies of Convenience, you don't get the negative for not doing anything for being within 6 inches.
But you also don't benefit from like the Warlord trait. That's
yeah.
the stuff.
Yeah, no Warlord traits.
Cannot be joined by
Paladin
different
characters,
characters.
things like that.
Yeah. So,
And also down here, the Desperate Allies is treated just like the Allies of Convenience, but your allies can't score for you. They don't do anything. They just kind of chill there.
wow.
They're there to fight.
So
they're there to fight. And
so they're non-scoring, non-denial units.
Yeah, so they can't score for or they can't contest. They're just sitting there shooting stuff for you.
Okay, so you literally just bring those allies just to kill stuff.
Yeah, they're just battlefield multipliers. You either let them go out there and fight for you and die, or they support you where you don't want to score.
Page 112, if anyone's wondering.
Okay.
There you go.
Page 112 in the rulebook. Normal rulebook. I'm not too sure if it's the same thing for the collector's edition, but hopefully we'll find out by today.
And
So
It might be.
what other good ally combinations? We got Space Marines with what? What goes good with Space Marines? Good old-fashioned boys in black, I guess, since you're Raven Guard.
So what goes good with Space Marines, I think, is just a normal Space Marine and Guard combination. You have the Guard up there shielding your guys and taking the brunt of the force, being like the meat of the army, like they do in like the fluff. So you have the Guardsmen dying and Space Marine coming in and acting like
Taking
heroes.
all the glory.
Yes, exactly. I think that's a decent combination because you can always compensate. You can compensate the Space Marines' low numbers with the Guards' high numbers, and then just work off your weaknesses and your strengths to come up with a decent combination.
Exactly.
I think it's a very solid combination.
and it's one that actually makes the most sense.
Yeah, it's a very sensible combination of allies. They are Battle Brothers, so they can work off their special powers. You can have a Space Marine captain, part of a 50-man blob squad if you wanted, or have a chaplain, part of that squad. I'm not too sure if they can give that squad fearless. I think it's only Space Marines, to double check that rulebook.
No, the rights of battle, or not the rights of battle. Whatever the special the chaplains have, it's whatever unit they join.
Yeah, whatever.
Unless you're spaceful.
Yeah, so I mean, there's different combinations, but I think that one's the most sensible. It's very solid, makes the most sense fluff-wise. But I mean, that's just for me.
It also helps out with the Space Marines' eliteness, because for 170 points the Space Marines get, same thing for Guard, you get 3 times the number of models, or 2.5, because it's 10 models for Space Marines, and for 130 you get 25 Guardsmen.
Yeah, okay. So I just checked the Codex for the honor of the chapter. It says he and all members of the squad he has joined are fearless. It does not say Space Marines, but I think they might have errated that in the fact. So go ahead and double check that in a bit. But yeah, so I mean, for me, that's my best combination. I'm a little biased just because I do play Space Marines and Guard. Necrons is the other army that I play, and honestly, allying anything with Necrons, they don't get any of the Battle Brother thing because they don't have a Battle Brother ally, so they don't, in my opinion, Necrons really don't need allies.
That's true. They don't really need allies.
Yeah.
They're so powerful, it's like the Tyranids.
Yeah, Tyranids are so powerful they don't need allies.
Yeah. So the ally chart is, for the most part, it's good. I think it's a good addition. I don't think it should be banned for tournaments because it makes games more of a narrative and it's more fun that way.
Yeah, my feeling on that, along with the and this falls along the same lines with the double force org chart at 2K points, especially for tournaments and things like that. I think a lot of people, in my opinion, I think people are taking it like way too extreme on that sense that, oh my god, it's going to be so broken and da 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 da. But at the same time, I mean, like, you're still confined to your points total.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're going to see a bunch of people who's like, oh, I'm going to take like 6 vendettas or 6 squadrons of vendettas. It's like, well,
cool. What else are you
cool.
going to take?
What else are you going to take? Vendetta is still 130 points.
Yeah, you still need 2 HQs and 4 troops.
Yeah.
On top of that.
On top of that.
3 troops.
No,
4. Only 1.
No, because if you take 2 force orgs, your force org is 1 HQ, 2 troops.
Allied, dude.
That's allies. We're talking about just 2 force orgs. So
Yeah.
you don't.
Oh, 2 force orgs?
I'm talking
Yeah,
about
2
2
force-
force orgs. You're talking about allies where you only need 1 troop. I'm talking about if you take 2 force org charts, you have to take 2 HQs and 4 troops.
Yeah. So,
That's
I
true.
mean, you're taking that. So that's going to be a chunk of your points out of 2,000 points.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to try to take other slots. I think the double force org chart was like, I think what they had in mind for GW's website, or for GW's mindset was, if you're going to be taking those force org charts, it would be for armies that have high reliance on a certain type of slot. So like for fast armies, I mean, a lot of the best choices for like Necrons come out of fast attack. And for guard, it comes out of heavy support and fast attack. They don't really, in my opinion, they don't really use a lot of elites. For like, depending on Space Marine builds and stuff like that, you can use heavy supports, you can use your fast attacks, or you can use your elites.
Yeah,
So I think it's more geared to try to cater to the people who's just like, I don't have enough fast attacks for what I really want to take.
Exactly. And I also think like with certain armies, you could flip around force org selections, like some fast attacks become troop choices, so you have more room for fast. But yeah, it's for those armies where, like Necrons, you want to take 3 units of Wraiths and 3 units of Scarabs, and you can't do that.
Yeah.
But now you can.
Yeah. Or like for people that want to take themes lists, for like good examples, my Ring Guard, or for Blood Angels and things like that, where a lot of their good stuff comes out of fast attack. They want to take their jump troops. I want to take my Space Marines with jump packs, because I mean that's my army list. I understand that I have elites and heavy supports, but for like my Raven Guard, I really don't need my heavy supports. And then at a certain point total, I'm kind of just like, okay, now I got to take things out of slots that I don't need to take, but I don't have enough points to take some of the better things. So I mean, it's a lot of give and take, and I think that the double force org chart isn't going to be as bad as people think it's going to be.
And I agree, because you still have 2,000 points.
Yeah, you're limited at 2,000 points for a normal, for the normal builds that we have in San Diego. It's 2,000 points. You have other places that are going to be
A little bit lower, a little bit higher.
a little bit lower, a little bit higher, and at that point, for the lower points things, you still get your normal force org. For the higher points games, obviously, then you'll be taking more stuff, but you're still confined by your points total.
I think the majority of people who are taking this way too harsh is like those win at all cost tournament type players where the randomness kills their whatever, and people who don't want to see multiple.
Randomness.
Yeah, the randomness.
We
Like,
roll dice. You can't get more random than
This
that.
is
Random
a random game.
random
Well,
terrain and random turn.
There's a
charges.
difference between, fun random and this is stupid random. Things like, you want random things that you can control. Like, alright, I chose to shoot at you. I knew what their save was, that makes sense. Not, I have to get close to this objective, I hope it doesn't explode on me, but I don't really have a choice. That's the kind of random that a lot of players don't like, because there's really no reason for it, because it's not controlled by players.
I could agree with you with that, but from what the majority I've read on forums and what other people are saying, they don't want to see allies in the game or multiple force org charts for any reason. That has nothing to do with being random.
Right, but don't go blaming the people think random is stupid on the win at all cost players. I think that's just kind of lazy game design, where you just have random things happen because.
I think another big thing is people don't like change. People don't want to see certain things change, like the force org chart has been the same for the whole thing, and now it's going to be changed because you can take allies no matter what point level you have. Now you can't really plan against.
Change
Yeah, but a lot of people are pretty happy about the whole point change.
Yeah.
There's changes that people are happy with, and there are changes that people aren't happy with.
Maybe I've seen a lot of vehicles die so fast now because whole points just grants them to death.
Yeah, but I mean that was a big issue back in 5th edition too, where you kept there were situations where you were glancing vehicles
Yeah,
like
you glance the crap
10
out of him.
times, and he's still on the table. Where just like, and it was like situations where it's not like just glancing. You're punching vehicles
And they
like
just sit
6
there.
times out of 10.
6 meltaguns later, and that orc
guy
truck
is
is just
Still
shaking.
shaken.
Or the Rhino
Or
just lost the
stunned.
Stormbolter. Oh, another
Yeah.
change that I actually like is when you weapon destroy something, it's random. I actually like that rule.
I dislike that one actually, just because weapon destroyed is one of the higher numbers on the dice, and when you roll it, you want to feel like, oh man, I rolled a high number, something good is going to happen, and then you destroy the Stormbolter
It's a
on the Vindicator, and you're like, God damn it.
No. For
Weapon-
one argument, I destroyed a Stormbolter on a Predator.
it's a 4 on the dice, not a
Yeah.
5 or a 3 anymore.
Right, so it's even higher. So if you roll high numbers, you want cool things to
Yeah,
happen.
they took out the wreck. Well, they added it for the glancing. So now you're gonna see a bunch of vehicles buy those 5-point, 10-point Stormbolters now.
You're going to see him buy Stormbolters, you'll see him buy Hunter Killer Missiles,
heavy stubbers.
heavy stubbers. I mean,
All the pits and mounted weapons that nobody ever took before are going to start to come out.
I honestly think that won't be the case because I mean you're still going to be only paying you'll still be paying those points just to try to combat that weapon destroyed result.
I mean, I can see the 5-point upgrades, but I don't
10
think we're going to see
points.
10-point Hunter Killers or anything like
Oh,
that.
you won't see Hunter Killers, but you'll see a bunch of pits and mounted weapons.
Yeah,
All those will come out because of this extra shots, which I think is going to be another hidden gem for this edition. Is things with multiple shots, things that can shoot a lot, like heavy bolters shoot a lot,
because of the snapfire rule.
assault cannons shoot a lot. All those kind of weapons that are almost rarely used now are going to come out. The Land Raider Crusader becomes really good.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
thing was really fun when I was using it. Tons of shots on
Yeah.
that thing.
Yeah, because I definitely feel that, especially playing 40k. I mean, if you want to play something close combat-y and things like that, I mean, you can go play fantasy. Definitely wanted to play 40k just because you have a lot of long-range shooting, a lot of short-range shooting, and then a little bit of assault, depending on your type of army, because it is supposed to be like advanced modern military. I mean, I know I'm taking this way too serious, but I mean, you want to be shooting guns. I mean, they give you guns for a reason, so that's the main premise of the thing. Is like, I want to be the guy firing the big ass gun and shooting.
Because they made the game is more of a firefight, and if you assault, you fight in close combat.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take the disadvantages by trying to do an assault. Assaults, I mean, obviously I would think maybe close quarter combat and things like that. Very scenario oriented. Unless your army specific, like the Outland Tyranids, I mean, they can do shooty, but they also do close combat.
Yeah.
Horde wise, just like playing StarCraft. It's like Zerg,
Yeah,
go,
Zerg.
Zerglings, go, 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 go.
Yeah. Another thing is the missions. We now have 6 mission types and the 3 deployments like we had before.
Not like we had before.
We had 3 deployment types.
Well, yeah, but not like the ones that we had before. Dawn of War is different.
I'm saying is like we had 3 missions before, 3 deployment types before. They're not the same deployment, but I'm saying there's 3 deployment types.
Okay.
That's
Same
what
number.
saying.
I'm just
Same
clarifying.
Same number of
deployment
Yeah.
types, but the different
You have to read
deployment
as
types.
intended, not as written.
Tell that to GW.
Is what I'm saying. So I actually like the 3 deployment types. We have the long triangle one, which is probably one of my favorites.
Okay, so explain that one to the player, to anybody that's
So-
first listeners.
You divide it. You find out where the exact middle is, and then nobody could deploy within 12 inches of that middle, and it's drawn from corner to corner.
I think it's of 24 inches, of 12 inches on either side.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
24 in between each other. It's always 24 in between each other with all 3 mission types. But you get a whole triangle-shaped deployment zone, which is pretty cool because now you're covering more parts of the board.
Oh, that deployment type used to be in 4th edition, I think.
It used to be no,
I
it was a
think
3rd
it's-
edition.
It was a 3rd edition
Third
one,
edition
but
one?
we always seem to run into it because our league coordinator
Loved it.
really liked it. And
Yeah, this was our old league coordinator, Shane. Big ups to you.
Shane, we love you, buddy.
I'm not always wrong.
You are.
Yeah, big ups to Shane. Really cool
Dirty
guy.
hippie.
Yes.
So yeah, we have that one. The Dawn of War is just like the old pitched battle, 12 inches up. And the other one is the long table edge, where
That is a interesting one.
That's such a great mission. I think that's the best designed mission ever.
This is coming from the long range Tau player.
yeah,
I like that one too.
I don't know.
Yes.
I like
So-
it because it makes the game seem more it makes the game seem kind of more cramped, but at the same time, you've got more space.
Yeah. So it's going to change tactically wise because I mean now you got a bigger no man's land. So for the assault armies, they're going to have to think of some creative ways to try to get their guys in there. For the long range guys, they're going to love this mission or that deployment type just because it's like, oh my gosh, I got how many more extra turns?
Yeah, my
Fire
pawn
archery.
army loves this mission because it's like, okay, you're deployed in a 4-foot area, and I can move on 12 from both sides.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I know in the game that I played, we rolled that deployment type, so my opponent was playing Blood Angels, and he just deep struck everything on me. Even his Storm Raven. So instead of getting 2 turns to shoot at it, I only got 1.
Yeah, that's really huge because it does cramp up everything, so it makes a lot of things easier to assault.
Yeah.
Not a lot of things are spread out, and I mean the
You can
only
finally
way.
make use of those guard artillery tanks now.
I mean,
Oh yeah, the
if you
ones with
think
the
about
longest
it,
range. My Death Strike missile loves this
Missile.
guy.
if you
Missile.
drop if you deep strike a Land Raider right into the middle of their deployment zone,
Oh,
there's
God.
really nowhere they can run. You're gonna get a charge.
Yeah.
Another thing that goes with the new missions, which I actually like, is the way that you set up the objectives. Now it's no longer 12 inches from table edge, it's 6, and they have to be 12 inches away from each other. So you could put one on your 7-inch line where deployments are and 12 inches away from it. So you're fairly close to 2 objectives right off the bat, no matter where you're at. So these mission
It
deployment
depends on the
types,
mission, though.
4 out of the
But
6
for most
missions,
of them, use that.
4 out
one,
of the
yeah.
6 use D3 plus 2, except for the kill point one and the relic.
Yeah.
Which the relic is like, I don't know, steal the bacon. If you guys ever played that in elementary school, that's kind of cool.
I mean, I like the concept of
Steal the
relic,
bacon.
but it's just so abusable to some armies. Any army that can get out there and grab the relic turn 1,
And just
good
fly
luck
back.
catching them.
Yeah.
Come on, deep strike.
It
They-
just gives
they-
a really big buff to whoever goes first, in addition to the first kill.
Yeah.
victory
I think
buff
after
they're gonna
playing,
get.
when people play through these missions, I personally haven't played through it, but when a lot of people and gets a lot of games under their belt, they try to figure out which missions are actually more viable in a tournament setting. And then obviously a lot of these these missions are probably get house ruled, saying like you can use these, can't use these, because some of the missions, like for the relic one, I can see George's point about being very abusable. I could see it maybe doing more like a league game where it's a lot more social,
yeah.
fun, you kind of do whatever's type of game where it's kind of like, okay, you grabbed it, and okay, now what can I do? In that type of setting, and for a tournament, I think that's very abusable. And I mean, you want to kind of keep it somewhat symmetry, same on your side, same on my side, and then we both have an even chance of trying to score. And then at that point, it comes down to tactics.
Yeah, there's 2 things that I can agree and disagree with that. The one thing is, or with the relic mission, you can't move more than 6 in any movement phase, and if you do, you drop it. But as far as tournaments go, I have played every single mission, all 6 of them, with different deployment types. And the 2 that I don't really like is the relic one is probably the least favorite. And the second one is actually the old school kill points. I actually don't like old school kill points. I could see the other missions being played in tournament settings. The relic is probably never going to be played in a tournament setting, and kill points would probably be lesser of a play.
Why do you say the kill point missions?
Because it still hurts the other armies that have multiple kill points that are easy kill points, like the MSU type armies.
But you said that was going away because transports are no longer viable.
I'm just saying that they're going to be
Sure.
less of a mission being played because I don't know, I just don't like kill points.
There's no reason to punish them more if the rule set is already working
Yeah.
against them a little. But I don't think that's a problem as much, just because most tournaments are only 3 games. So if the 3 tournament games are going to be Standard Crusade and then like Big Guns Never Tire and then the Fast Attack one, or
I mean,
something
everybody's
like that.
just going to build their armies around those missions. If they know those missions are going to be coming up. I think that with the kill point mission being added in there, you have a couple of objective point missions, and then you have a kill point mission. So it kind of throws that curveball into your tournament list build, where you have to kind of
Worry about how many kill points you have.
yeah.
What I think might be cool is if they do say they do Crusade as one and they do kill points for another, and then for the third game they would have maybe a dice off to see if you get whichever one of the other 3, maybe Big Guns Never Tire or the Fast Attack one, just so it's harder for someone to specifically build around it, but then they would get to use those rules.
I think what we're going to see maybe in 5-round tournaments is going to be the first 5 missions being played.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, you still have the old rulebook. They can still do that same old, Bay Area Open style. That's still
That's
viable
true.
even in this edition.
That's an all 5 missions already.
I also
bad.
I really like I
Hey,
like
those
the
are couple
idea
points.
of I like how easy it is for different tournaments to change the secondary objectives.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, on top of those, you have your secondary objectives. So I mean, you can still. I mean, how much is your primary objective worth? To you?
Each objective is worth 3 victory points.
The secondaries are more of tiebreakers than
Yeah.
anything else.
The secondaries you have 1 point for killing your warlord, first blood, and line breaker, which is in every single mission.
And I think we'll see First Blood changed pretty often, but the other two I think seem like pretty decent ways to break ties.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and with the I also cheated you in another game when we played.
You cheated me in
When we
every
played
single
the
game.
one where what's it called? The one where the fast attacks are scoring, the scourging, scoring, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
You killed 2 of my speeders, which also count for victory points. So you actually won that game by 1.
Damn right I did.
Awesome.
Dirty rotten cheater.
So yeah, there's multiple ways to win games, not just the primary objectives, which is I think is pretty good.
Yeah. So I mean, it takes the whole game into context. So you have to worry about your secondary objectives on top of worrying about your primary objectives. Because if you just worry about the primary objective, I mean, you could have potentially. I guess you can potentially have victory taken away from you. Without you even knowing it.
So you don't even have to win the primary objective. You could just
try to score all secondary.
You could draw the primary and get 1 extra victory point by like killing your warlord or just throwing like a draw pod in the line breaker, and you're just like, okay, I won.
Yeah. So
True.
There's a lot of.
You're going second, right?
Yeah, going second in this game is I think would be the better choice because you lose 1 point on the first blood if they happen to kill a guy, but you get second movement with trying to capture contest objectives and all the other things.
You'll pretty much get line breaker and slay the warlord, most likely.
And you also get to see how your opponent deploys, so you could deploy your army against it, which is I think it's a better choice than going first and trying to shoot something.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you go second against a real shooting army, you can only reserve half your army now, so there's no way to really dodge that.
So you reserve half your army, and the other half hides behind terrain where you get cover saves and where they can't see you. And with night fighting,
well, that's half your army though. I could buy that for a couple units, but that's half of your army. You're going to lose a lot of stuff before your things start coming onto the board.
Yeah, and they have night fighting in every mission where you have to roll for it on a 4-up. You can't shoot anybody over 36 inches. Period. So you just put your guys out 37 inches away, and if night fighting doesn't come, you can't shoot me.
Yeah, just
right. But all the really shooty armies have ways around night fight. They have searchlights, they have night vision, they have black sun
So then you
filters,
would move, but then you shoot with less.
I think I mean, you guys are being very general with it. I think it's going to be who am I fighting? Who am I going to be going against?
Yeah, because everybody's not going to be fighting 9 broadsides.
Yeah, 9 broadsides.
Right, but
at the same time, nobody's going to be facing like an all like 12-inch shooty army too at the same time. So I figure it's going to be very tactical, very decision oriented. I'm like, okay, what do I got to do against like a Dark Angel player? What do I got to do against a Tyranid player? What do I got to do? So I think
Tyranid player, you've already lost the game.
Yeah,
they're so overpowered.
Yeah, but they put a bunch of layers onto tactics.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tactical. It's a very tactical oriented game now than it was before. I think they put in a lot of the stuff from the whitewashed edition from the previous edition. So yeah, I definitely think that this edition is probably going to be a lot better. I think a lot of the learning curve is definitely going to be there for sure for the next couple months. People just trying to get to learn the rules, stop just to try to memorize everything and to slow down on trying to reference the book all the time. Definitely think though too that GW is going to make a killing, especially when they start selling the small rule books.
Oh yeah, the small rule book and then the flyers for the other races too.
Yeah, the other flyers for other races.
And the Battle Force, the starter sets.
Starter sets for sure.
Which starter sets?
The Dark Angels one and the Chaos one that supposedly are going to come out next month.
So we'll definitely see what's going to happen. I mean, I definitely think that the small rule books are definitely going to be gold to everybody.
Yep, I already know. I'm going to be the proud owner of 4 mini rule books.
Yeah. eBay.
Yeah.
Putting that out there.
I'll take one.
Or contest. What?
But okay, so we've been going on for about an hour right now, so we're probably going to take a little break. When we come back, we'll go check out challenges, how we feel about that. Brian got the new 40K man purse.
Man purse.
40K man purse. He'll go over that with his little las gun charge pack. I think that came with it too, with the dice. You can go over that. And then we'll finish up on some events that are 40K related, non-40K related in the month of July. So we'll come back and take a little break. So see you soon.
Hi guys, this is Brittany here to tell you all about the great products now available from Table War. Designed for the display, storage, and light transport of hobby models and miniatures, these products do it brilliantly. I've seen firsthand how well these products work, and let me tell you, these guys have thought of everything. It starts with the Table War display tower cases. These towers are the centerpiece of the system. Inside the case, the Table War railing and display boards combine to allow you to securely arrange your miniatures however you like. Diorama and unit trays then fit snugly within the display boards, all to meet your needs. If these needs change, no problem. Simply rearrange your boards and trays. The result is a stunning look with amazing function. Whether you're taking it to a tournament, your local game store, or just to your buddy's house, the Table War tower cases allow you to arrive with everything and get to playing quickly. So what are you waiting for? Visit them at tablewar.com or at the Table War fan site on Facebook.
Table War is a registered trademark of Table War Designs Inc. Field patents pending.
Table War.
1.
Hi guys, we're back. What happened?
We're good.
We're good.
All right, we are good. Welcome to the San Diego 40K podcast, part 2, after the commercial.
If you have a hilarious commercial you'd like us to play, feel free to send it to us.
MP3s preferred, but we'll take anything.
And don't
We're
forget,
really
we
just-
have a Facebook page now, San Diego 40K podcast at facebook.com.
.com.
Are you sure it's that?
It might be.
Better.
I think I changed it, but if not, then search our names, Danny, Brian, Justin, George. That's kind of weird. But yeah, I think it is San Diego 40K podcast. I think I did change that.
Okay. I hope you did, because I think that would be actually a better title for our Facebook.
And we also have a YouTube channel, which you do type in San Diego 40K podcast and it comes up.
Yes.
And we're also on iTunes now.
Yes, we are on iTunes, so definitely check us out if you want to download our podcast. Another thing, too, for our YouTube channel, we're actually on the fence of deciding whether or not if we want to create a Twitter account. So we'll leave it up to the viewers if you think that actually be beneficial for you guys. Comment in our video. Let us know. And hopefully we'll get enough feedback, so we'll let you guys know what goes on with that.
Yep, we've also got a blog at San Diego 40K .blogspot.com.
Check us out. All right, so going back to the meat of the topics for today. So we're going to finish up on challenges. We'll talk about Brian's 40K man purse and dice that he just got recently. And we'll go over the events in San Diego. So, challenges. Pros, cons. Think it's stupid.
I think it's awesome because
Doesn't
I
make
have
sense
Lysander.
doesn't make sense for Space Future battles.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
When your Swarm Lord challenges somebody somehow, I don't know how he's going to do that, but
All I'm going to...
Well, but when that run asshole captain challenges the Swarm Lord's going to drop everything and fight him instead of just saying no and carving your entire squad into a lovely turkey display.
Gouda.
nice and Gouda, cheddar, Swiss.
I don't know. Actually, that's kind of interesting. You could have your... that's a whole other strategy to it. If there's a giant monster you don't want to deal with, and he's with something you can.
I think the problem I have with challenges isn't when your badass challenges their badass.
Mhm.
It's when their chump challenges your badass specifically so you don't rape the squad in combat. No one's going to walk face first into a fight they know they're going to die from, especially in the future.
I think, though, too, that with challenges, just like in fantasy, if there's overkill on wounds, so if you do actually more wounds than the character has, those wounds still count for combat res.
But with the majority of the armies in the game, with Fearless as such a big buff now, and with And They Shall Know No Fear
Being an incredible buff.
being extremely good now,
Yeah,
I mean, who cares if they roll over?
true.
No, I don't mean to interrupt, but if you type in San Diego 40K podcast and on Facebook, it does come up.
Okay. Thank you, Danny, for changing
Okay,
that. Confirmation confirmed. Okay, so going back to challenges after Danny rudely interrupted the conversation.
So, Danny, how do you like challenges with your awesome Belial? Who's never
Belial
accepted a
loves
challenge.
it, except for when he has to fight somebody like Lysander or Abizaba or anybody else who has Eternal Warrior. Because he does not, which is weird. He lives through 20,000 years, becomes the master of the Deathwing, but then a Power Fist kills him.
20,000.
Surprising that he
Yes.
obeys the laws of physics in the 41st millennium.
Yes.
So he's been around before the Emperor?
Yeah, exactly. He is the Emperor.
Yeah, you're just talking bullshit now.
Yeah, no, it was just an exaggeration. But yeah, he's been around for so long. So the master of the Raven Wing, his brother, goes and puts on a cloak, but he can't seem to find a fucking cloak. Right? So he's instant death by anything strength 8 or above, which is pretty much anybody who would want to challenge him anyway.
See, but the thing is, Danny, is that you're suffering from old codex syndrome. So, I mean,
Well, the Raven Wing still has it. They're in the same codex.
yeah, but they were designed in the same codex when the old Space Marine only could take an Eternal Warrior for a certain amount of guys because they had that special item.
That is true.
So, I mean, obviously,
They
just
are
wait.
they are the fourth edition codex. That came
Yeah,
out.
so just wait until your new codex comes out
In the White Dwarf.
in the White Dwarf. So, and then all your guys will get Eternal Warrior, and you'll be happy with your White Dwarf codex, like how Sisters Battles were.
Yeah, because we have a lot of Sisters of Battles running around now.
Yes, we do. No, we
Sweet.
don't.
Yeah, so even
used
GW,
to.
even GW loves him so much they gave him half a page for the FAQ.
Half a page.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Half a page.
Half a page.
Man, that's like half a page more than I thought they were going to get.
Yeah.
So yeah, the challenges work out very, very well, unless you're fighting a blob squad, because then who cares if they decline it with one sergeant? They got like 4 other sergeants who have
that's an idea.
power weapons, plus the commissars who have power weapons.
Yeah.
That's actually interesting, though. If a blob squad gets charged by that, like a knob squad, for instance, you have a knob challenge, and then the rest of your knobs with their precision strikes takes out all the commissars and sergeants.
Wow.
Whoa.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
They're
Did they actually list knobs as
Yeah,
characters?
Characters.
Knobs and paladins
Every character-
are all
every knob
characters.
Wow.
and their lookout stars are
Oh
only a
my
4 up
God.
because they're not independent characters. Which is ironically how I took out the blob squad. Is I challenged with my sergeant and he had 2 commissars, so he accepted with one of the commissars instead of the sergeants with the power weapons, and then Ezekiel precision strike the other commissar in the same combat phase,
Wow.
which is pretty
So
cool.
Awesome.
So Ezekiel became a badass because he has a 2-up save, so power weapons are like whatever.
So squad upgrades are definitely going to be very prevalent in the new edition.
I see
Mhm.
with the precision striking of characters, a lot of plasma pistol sergeants are going to come out.
Or
and
commie melts, yeah.
yeah, a lot of these upgrades that nobody took before are going to start coming out because hitting.
I
rolling.
wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing, and I'm not sure if any of the any codexes can really do this, but if the sergeant can take the special weapons, then
They
That
can
would
only
be
take
pretty
combi melta plasma, but they could always take plasma pistols. Most codexes can anyway.
Yeah, most sergeants I've seen come from like other codexes can take some sort of equivalent to a plasma pistol or some high strength, low AP like type of gun. So
Yeah,
definitely going to see a big increase in those
a lot
guys
of
coming
Imperial
back out.
Guard players with the regular platoons. Not only can the platoon commander take a plasma pistol, every sergeant in the squads could take plasma pistols.
that way they can blow their own faces off
Who
before
cares?
they get in the combat.
If you roll a 6 and hey, whatever, your knob just took a plasma pistol, or your Space Marine sergeant with the power fist. So now I have a 17-point or a 15-point plasma pistol sergeant just took out your 40-point Space Marine model on a 6.
Yeah, I think it'll be more tactical, so you'll know when to use it. It's like if I see that squad that I don't want to charge me, like I'll take the chance of killing my own sergeants first before
Yeah,
to try to take out your guys.
and a guardsman platoon sergeant, who cares if he dies from a plasma?
As long as the commissar's still there.
Yeah,
Now that I think about it, can you do a lookout, sir, for the plasma?
no, you can't.
That's good.
It says that model has to take it, the wound that is.
That's stupid. I wanted to do that, too. Look how dude,
Yeah,
it's getting
we,
hot.
we already discussed this. There's
No.
no oven mitts in 40k.
Dude,
No.
there are. They're called power fists.
No.
It's not hot potato.
All right, so
Stupid. Matt Ward, rewrite that.
he will eventually.
Get that
But
on
one thing
there.
that affects vehicles now. Plasma affecting vehicles is huge.
Yeah, dude, that
Because
hurts.
Yeah.
if you roll
vehicles,
a 1
man.
and then you roll a 1, 2, or 3, you lose a whole point. So that is huge on a bunch of vehicles, except for the IG plasma tank, which is the
main gun
the
does
main,
not have
the main
gets
gun is
hot.
not a plasma cannon.
Yes, does not have the gets hot rule, so does not suffer from that. Though the
it's
two
not-
sponsons will suffer from that,
It's not
but
FAQ'd
it's not as
anyway,
bad.
right?
Huh?
It's not an FAQ.
Nope,
You have the
it's-
FAQ. Look at it.
It
It's right there.
maintains its awesomeness.
Yeah, I'll look that up right now. But
Okay.
yeah, vehicles losing hull points from overheating plasma cannon sucks.
Yeah, that really changed from the previous edition where like a normal infantryman carrying a plasma type of weapon obviously would take damage from it overheating. And I guess the justification from before with vehicles is that even though the plasma would not get hot because they described it as having a cooling system of some sort so that it wouldn't suffer from that on the vehicle.
Now, George, with your Tau, are you going to take upgrades for your units just to deny sergeants and things like that from hitting your squad?
Oh yeah, 5 points for a team leader. I'll buy that for precision strike on my battle suits. That sounds perfectly fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad. I mean, also for your your fire warrior squads, where
Nope.
even for that, if the sergeant or from so the power claw from
I don't
the
need
knob,
to slow my game down even more by
Come
making sure
on.
1 dice out of 12 is differently colored in case he rolls his hit.
it'd be beautiful. But what if for challenges? Come on,
I
man.
think I've already lost at that
Yeah,
point.
there's no point in
At that point, I think I just want the whole unit to die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to spend extra points for something that he doesn't need.
guys are all cowards.
Okay. All right. So going back to just keep us on track for topics. Next topic we got is the 40K man purse or the travel satchel package
the Gamers
upgrade.
Edition.
The
of-
panty dropper.
What?
I don't know about that, but the Gamers Edition of the 40K rulebook came with a 40K gamer satchel, along with the 40K rulebook, and was it the objective dice that came with it?
I got objective dice and the objective markers.
It's
too.
made in pleather,
Yes.
so it's pretty.
And it also
good.
came in a very cool-looking las
Making it
gun
out.
charge battery thingamabobber case.
It has dice and objective carriers for your dice for the
Mhm.
games where you can mark what objective is what. They're in servo skull form, and you can actually paint them, so it's pretty cool. You can paint them however you want.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so dice, it's just
It's just a
normal
dice.
dice like you would normally see.
Yeah. It's
just-
engraved, and it actually looks cool.
looks
Mhm.
cool. I think it's a lot better quality than some of the other dice that they came up with. Not too sure if I would still use them for the or I definitely use them for the objectives, but not too sure if I'd use them to actually roll stuff with yet. Undecided.
I wouldn't. They come in a cool Laskin power pack.
Straight
That's-
from Armageddon, man. Look at that.
That
thing.
is
Yeah.
the only reason why I would buy this is because I want the Laskin pack.
You're not that interested in the man purse.
No, I'm not interested in the man purse.
Why not?
The little objective holders actually for the dice are actually pretty cool. So decent size. Doesn't take up a lot of space. You can put the dice on there. It holds it up pretty well.
Mhm.
Another thing that I would
Very
suggest
stable.
is a must buy, or pretty close to it, is the psychic cards.
Yeah, I'm surprised
I-
that the Gamers Edition didn't come with those at all.
I actually think the
Strange.
psychic cards are worth the money to buy it, so you don't have to keep on flipping back and forth through the book, and actually having them on hand is pretty cool.
I think the reason why they aren't selling as prevalent as like everybody like technically it should is that most people that have like some sort of army builder or something like that, soon as the new edition or as soon as the new update for that army builder comes out, they're gonna have the psychic powers on there anyways, and
Which
they'll
is-
have an option.
It's never going to happen. GW is actually in a lawsuit with Wolf Lair about.
I think they just did a cease and desist.
Yeah. Oh, did they really? So
Yeah, I don't think it's a lawsuit, but I think they finally issued them a cease and desist. So
So they can't do that anymore?
So they can't.
Well-
Wolf Lair is not making army builders
well,
anymore.
from
There's no
what-
more updates.
from what
Okay.
I understand, Wolflair never made the 40K updates. Those were all developed by
People.
other people.
Yeah, third party or
Wolflair
whatever.
just had the Army Builder program out there. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure what the cease and desist is going to do to Wolflair because it doesn't seem like they have a ton of control over the situation.
Yeah. So it's they're no longer
Oh,
doing any updates.
right, from what I remember. I read an article on this, and I think all that happened was they had to remove all of the links to any place to get for the 40K downloads from their site. So if you're internet savvy, I think you can still go and find places doing maybe updates for the 40K Army Builder stuff. But
maybe. But with that Army
as of
Builder,
right now, you can't just find that from Wolflair's website.
Yeah, the Army Builder program. I know. I just updated the account like 4 months ago, and you get a year on it, and it's like it says that my subscription has expired. So I don't know. I guess nobody's getting updates.
All right, so we'll definitely see how this turns out. For right now, probably the best bet is to buy the
cards,
the psychic power cards for sure.
I
have the book.
It comes with the what psychic lures can take with what armies too.
No, that's also in your FAQ.
That's in the FAQ.
But
it's also in, I believe GW has it on their website, I believe, to see which armies take which psychic powers. So
it's in the rules.
No, it's not.
It's not actually in the
rule
book.
There's nothing in here. You can take, if you want by the rule book, you can use any power you want.
Yeah.
But so, I think the cards are worth buying because I played a game and I was like, okay, well, we share the same lure. And I was like, what cards or what powers do what? And I was like, well, I'll just go buy the cards.
You can all buy the cards, or you can make your own cards.
You can make your own cards too.
So
you can.
With flash cards.
Yeah, the GW cards, it's more of just a little...
Convert my own cards.
Convert your own cards.
It's a cool thing to have.
All right, so talked about the man purse, 40K.
It's also not really expensive. For $13, you get all the cards.
Yeah. The man purse is nice. I'm just gonna restitch it because those stitches don't look all that strong. Hey,
so
steal my man purse over there. What a jerk.
So, opinions on that?
The gamer's edition was nice. Got the rule book, got some dice, got some objectives, so it's good.
Cool.
I like it.
All right, so we're going to be finishing up pretty soon. I'm just going to be going over the current events happening in San Diego. Not necessarily all of them are actually going to be 40K related. It's just to get the word out there for 40K and for gaming in general. So a couple of things are going on. So M13 for Magic, the new core set, is actually going to be having a pre-release events at most San Diego shops all throughout this weekend. So Saturday and Sunday. So check them out. Game Empire, Addie's Games, Paradise Games, San Diego Game and Comics, or Comics and Games. I forgot what that store's name is. And be sure to check them out.
Game Empire.
Game Empire too. Currently at Ease, on top of the M13 releases, we have a Flames of War tournament on July 14th. They're going to have a WoW card game tourney on the 15th. And their 40K tournament is going to be on the 21st of this month. So Saturday and Sunday, all weekend tournaments. Game Empire currently has a tournament scheduled for July 7th. And the APOC game for July 28th. It's going to be the last Saturday of July. So bring your guys out, roll dice, have fun, scream, yell.
The first...
Yeah, that July 7th tournament at Game Empire is a Warhammer Fantasy tournament.
Yes, Fantasy tournament.
Yeah, the APOC game is going to be the first 6th edition APOC game.
Yeah, it'll be definitely the first 6th edition APOC game, so definitely check it out. Probably see a lot of flyers actually in use using the flyer rules.
Gas Gold is
well,
back
you got to watch out because in APOC, people can deal with that shit.
Yes, so.
No, not with some of the guys that what they're bringing is like an actual, like, here's an entire orc army of flyers.
Yarrick is out of retirement.
Yarrick will be out of retirement.
A couple of Yarricks. I got one.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And at Paradise Games, only thing that I was able to get from them is that they have a 40K tournament on the 28th. So same day as the APOC game and Game Empire. So you can choose which one you would like to go to. One's in San Diego, Claremont. The other one's in San Diego, Oceanside. So, and very big one. The big one for July. Like most people know in San Diego, the Comic-Con has come down to San Diego. July 12th through the 15th. I am going to be going to that, so...
He is a horrible person for getting tickets without helping us get tickets.
Sorry.
Seriously.
My bad, guys.
We don't blame you.
But I will definitely be taking some videos there. I'll be trying to post those guys up on the YouTube channel, so definitely check them out. See if I can try to get some interviews with some of the people at the con. Not too sure if I'm really going to be staying in line for panels. As anybody who has been to Comic-Con knows, standing in line to panels is almost an all-day affair. So, definitely be checking out the events, games, or not panels, but definitely a lot of the retailers down on the first floor.
So if you don't have a ticket for Comic-Con, avoid downtown.
Or
go to downtown.
Or actually go downtown too. Check out. There's going to have a lot of events outside of the convention center too.
Oh, really?
Yes, there's going to be a lot of events. GamerCon is another con that is actually going to be happening in downtown at the same time. It actually starts on Monday for GamerCon. It's pretty much board games, video games, D&D, all those type of things. Don't have a website, but they do have a website. Just look up GamerCon San Diego, and you'll be definitely check out some tickets there. They're also going to have a lot of events at a lot of the different areas, like at Club Below, which is the 1821 Up Club on Thursday. Geek and Sundry is actually going to be there that day. So Felicia Day, Will Wheaton, and a lot of the guys from the Guild and a lot of the channels that they produce. So definitely check them out at Below It. They're going to be there Thursday pretty much all day until closing, till 2 o'clock in the morning. I believe that night they're actually going to have a disco-themed party, so be sure to check it out.
Right on.
Anyways, we're going to be finishing up, so any last comments, guys? Danny?
Transports are dead in 6.
Okay. Brian?
I said it first.
Wow, really? Belial better start accepting challenges from now on. That's all I want to hear.
Once he gets to turn a warrior, he will.
Never.
Okay. George?
Tau, allies, which ones? I don't know.
And my final comment is I still need to get a 40K rulebook. So, with that, we're going to go ahead and end it. This is Justin.
Danny.
Brian.
And George.
Thanks for listening, and tune in next time to the San Diego 40K podcast.
Stay classy, San Diego.